Now, y'all know I had to double back today about this latest episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville. I'm not going to talk about the whole episode, but I want to talk about the Maurice and Martell meetup. And I was kind of glad to see Martell. I think this was his first episode of the season. And I laughed just as hard as he did. When he was sitting in that restaurant talking to Maurice, you could tell that was a genuine gut-busting laugh, because it sounded so crazy coming out of Maurice's mouth, what he was saying about what happened. Now, I know he may have been telling the 100% truth about what happened. He hit a dog, then he hit a car, then he hit a pole, then he hit a house, then he hit a lady, then he hit a bicycle. He was saying all these things, and then at the end, he had a concussion. That may be true. I'm exaggerating. But it may be true. But it sounded like he was trying to make sure that everybody believed that he did what he said he did or didn't do. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I laughed the whole time Martell was laughing, because you ever come across a situation where something is so funny you can't stop laughing? It doesn't matter what the situation is. It's just funny. I know I love to laugh. I love to laugh. And there are some times when I just can't stop. It made me think about a video I saw the other day off of Instagram, and I could not stop laughing. It was probably 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm laughing. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Martell and Maurice. Well, I believe Martell. And it's not often that I believe Martell, because Martell is known to stretch the truth or just make it be what he needed to be in that moment. But I believe Martell. I believe that Maurice met with Martell not because he wanted to see where he is mentally, because if you ask me, I think Martell is the same place mentally he's been since the very first episode. So why are you concerned about his mental health now? Martell is just tired of y'all ass. That's all it is, Maurice. Martell's sick of you, and he's sick of Marceau, and he's sick of Tisha. But I did like when he was a little vulnerable, and he said all he wanted Tisha and Marceau to do was just call him and apologize for saying, I think they were saying that he was same gender loving on some level like that. I think that's what they said or implied. He didn't like that, and he wanted them to just say that they were wrong and apologize. He said when they did, he was like, hey, well, all gloves off. Let me put this video out. Now, if you haven't seen the video, go look at the video that he and Ariane did, which was a whole total disaster, from the lady they had on there to their questioning. I think Maurice didn't care about his mental health. Maurice just went there to check the temperature of Martell before the season got any further in, and Martell started talking a little bit more and maybe coming out with more information. So all that was about was, let me go check Martell's temperature. He wouldn't give a damn if Martell was out there skating with his underwear on, eating a banana down the main street of Huntsville, Alabama. He don't care about his mental state. He want to make sure whatever juice Martell have on him and Marceau, that it stay under wraps. And if you ever notice through all of the seasons, Marceau don't give a damn. He gonna go toe for toe with Martell every single time. Maurice is always the one who's trying to stay in good with Martell, and try to work things out. And I think it's because he know that Martell has something and he don't want it to come out. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. That's my opinion. But I like the fact that Martell didn't really trip out with Maurice. He was just giving Maurice the energy he was giving him. But it was so funny when he told Maurice, okay, so you hit a animal, you hit a pole, and then you hit something else. He said, man, you sound like my 9-year-old. That was his way of saying, Ninja, you lying. Because he's probably saying his 9-year-olds come with these elaborate stories to get out of suffering consequences. So that's what I took from that. However, Maurice tried to hold a straight face, pretty much telling Martell, you lying. Why you lying? Why you saying it? He pretty much kept saying it. And Martell told him, you a lawyer? If I'm lying, sue me. And Maurice's eyes got bigger than $50. They don't have $50 that often anymore. You don't find them in circulation. But if you my age, you know what a $50 look like. And his eyes got bigger than $50. He just stared. Because at that point, Martell called his bluff and said, if I'm lying, sue me. If what was on that video is a lie, sue me. But why did old crazy Maurice say, did you see the color of the carpet? What was the color of the carpet? What was the color of the room? What was the color of this? What was the color of the towels? Just trying to be real detailed. I guess he was trying to show a few of his little lawyering skills, but that fell flat. And I got to thinking about it. I said, now I have traveled for years. I couldn't tell you the carpet in not one of those hotel rooms. I couldn't tell you the color of the curtains. I probably could tell you shit. I probably can't remember what half that stuff looked like. So to ask somebody what the carpet and all of that looked like from a hotel room from 10, 12 years ago, who remembers that kind of crap? Nobody remembers. Well, if you do, maybe some people just got little quirks about them and they remember things like that. I don't. I really don't. So for Martell not to remember, it's not unusual. But I believe Martell. On this, I believe Martell. And Martell didn't lie. We all know Martell didn't lie. Hell, the whole show he been lying because he was lying to his wife about what he was doing with the other woman. Now, one thing I do think he lying about is wanting to marry Ariane. I think he may want to marry Ariane because he might feel like, well, she been here. This is what I got right now. So let me go ahead and just do what I need to do with her. But I don't think he really want to marry Ariane. That's just my opinion. I think she's just a placeholder right now. People keep saying that he still loves his wife. I don't think he still loves his wife. I think he's accepted that that's over and he's moving on. But I don't think he want to marry Ariane. But that's not what we're talking about. We're supposed to be talking about him and Maurice. Well, anyway, that's my take on it. I think Maurice was just checking the temperature. He don't care what his Martell's mental state is. Y'all get in the comments and let me know, did you watch this episode? And do you think that Maurice really care about Martell's mental state? I don't. Get in the comments and let me know. Talk to y'all later. Bye.